Welcome to Notepad at our spanking brand new studio at Bukit Jalil. My name is Ibrahim Sani. We have on the line right now, joining us via Skype, is Yip Hon Choong, the the COO of MYwave, a company that focuses on HR management. Yip, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. I want to ask you a little bit about how 1 year of working from home has been like for businesses around the country, and more so now that we are entering a recovery MCO phase with a lot of Malaysians now slowly enrolling themselves to take the vaccine. The conversation is inevitable. Will people return to office post-COVID? So let's do a quick summary of how things have been and how things will be. Yep.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Encik Ibrahim, for and also Astro AWANI for inviting me for this session itself. Uh, uh, so, to the questions about what will happen pre and post COVID. So, it's been a past 1 year where we gone through cycles of MCOs and CMCOs, and people have been working from home. As for myself as well. Working full-time at home and also partially rotating during CMCO coming to the office. This has been a major interruption actually to the business, not only to myself, my company, and also to my customers, and as well as businesses around the world itself. Um, one of the major interruptions would be on the area of human resource. Managing people who are now used to be working in the office, and they no longer work in the office, then they are actually working from home. So these are one of the challenges that HR faces, and there will be challenges coming post-COVID where people are returning back to work, and probably some may still prefer to continue to work from home. So question arises, how do you manage all these things here?
Let's focus also on the type of companies that we are talking about right now. Of course, MYwave has a very interesting portfolio of companies, including the Chicken Rice Shop, Crocs, Yamaha, famous brands, but SME, perhaps even larger side of the SME. Do you feel that this segment of customer base needs to really rethink about how they move forward when it comes to working from home versus the kind of interfacing that you guys need to do, servicing your customers? Many of them are retail companies. It's not easy working from home when you have retailers coming in and out of your premises. How do you divide then from front workers to back office staff and the likes?
Okay. Okay. One of the important point that we also have to remember is that the government has also implemented policies such as those who actually from the office and not the retail shop front people are able to work from home. So the bigger impact of this is actually to the office staff that is actually not the front shop, because the front shop will still have to operate. And of course, during MCO where they have shutdowns, lockdowns, and things like that, that actually impacted the shop front. But during the reopening of businesses, there's still a big portion of the staff, which is actually the office employees, will continue to work from home. And being MYwave itself, most of our staff is actually working from home. So how do we manage all these things? One of the important points that most of us have to acknowledge is that digitization is actually one of the solutions that actually helps my customers manages their work from home portion of employees. May not be 100%, probably about 30 to 40% of their staff that is having to work from home, and they go into a situation where you no longer see them in the office. So how do you manage them? How do you know they are working? How do you ensure that in example their salaries are calculated correctly, and they are paid because you no longer clock in and out from the office. So what we actually have done is that we actually help our customers digitize a lot of their processes on this sector itself. So that actually enables them to be able to manage their staff efficiently, even though they are actually not on premise itself.
Let's talk a little bit more about the nature of businesses coming back after COVID. We have recently done a survey that shows that some companies might appreciate more of their employees not returning to the office anytime soon. And despite the kind of views that is being held by some, it seems like office environment do provide the kind of collaboration that we want to expect from workers, the kind of project creation, that kind of stuff. But at the same time, with the advent of better or stronger cohesiveness of working online, and we have had that kind of experience over 1 year now, it seems like there seems to be some reluctance from the employees themselves from wanting to return to work. What does the future hold when it comes to both employees and employers trying to find a common ground into finding the right mix of how much should we work from home, how much should we be in the office in the near months and years to come?
Oh, okay. Yeah. What you're saying is actually true. Uh, over the past 1 year with some of the office employees or staff working from home, a lot of adjustment has been made. For example, those with children who are actually being babysit, now they are looking after them at home and things like that. So this actually created an environment where they have used to for the past 1 year managing it from home, and at the same time, most importantly, is they are able to deliver what is expected of them. So this is actually one of the challenges for a company to manage post-COVID, where the work from home is lifted, and so it falls on the shoulder of the human resource actually to be creative in thinking out what would be a solution that actually balances the needs of the business as well as the employee themselves in terms of the well-beings.
All right, we'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue more with MYwave right after these messages. Thanks for staying on with us. I have with me Yip Hon Choong of MYwave, talking about the HR function in a COVID environment. Yip, let's talk a little bit more about how some items like HR is more than just routine. It is actually more or less a consultative or consultant work to the organization, if you think about it. The role of HR has now moved from being the, person to be spoken to at the office, but more than that, online. How has the HR function, transformed over the past 1 year, particularly during the pandemic?
Yeah. So, conventional HR, like what you say, has been one of the area where it's a lot more administrative and more of the day-to-day kind of activities. With the onset of COVID, actually, it turns the HR into a very creative centers, because they have to address needs on a very short notice. And 1 year ago, when COVID was when COVID sets in, kind of from the announcement from the government itself, where the lockdown happens 2 days later, a lot of HRs are actually kind of caught off guard because there was not enough preparations in getting the staff to work from home. There was no policies. So coming to my first point itself, the HR actually has evolved a lot from the day where it becomes from the day of administrative. Now they are more strategic, and they have to continue to create new environment, new policies, new practices, and moving forward, there'll be a lot more changes required from the HR itself.
All right, let's talk about MYwave per se. Now, you guys are a cloud-based HR platform What does that mean?
Okay, we are actually a HR solution company focuses in providing system solutions and also outsourcing services to our customers. So from that point of cloud-based itself, what it means is that the system itself is actually built on the internet, hosted on the internet, and you don't have an on-premise hosting required. So basically, a cloud-based HR system is just subscribe and use without having to install anything or buy any hardware internally.
You are also an MDAC panel of digital enablers for SMEs. How does that come about, and what does it mean to be called the digital enabler of SMEs?
Okay, we are actually one of the approved TPS. We work very closely with MDAC itself in introducing some of these solutions to SMEs. Basically, because majority of SMEs conventionally they have been doing a lot of HR using an on-premise systems. So what it means is that the system is installed in-house, and pandemic itself, you have people that is not able to go back to the office, and they are not able to actually process what they need to do on a daily basis. So with partnering with MDAC, we actually bring these solutions to the SMEs, and hopefully we are able to actually encourage them to move from the on-premise platform to a cloud platform, because it is actually more secure, more accessible.
The item right now is that everyone is moving to the cloud, so the situation is going to be more competitive for MYwave per se. How do you stand out from your competitors right now?
Uh, uh, we, we do have our own differentiations from a system standpoint. We have plans on a continual improvement basis, and we make our systems easy to adopt. From an implementation stage to a rollout, full rollout, we shorten the time. We make it easy for the SMEs to learn, and we also provide coaching, trainings, guidance, and also on top of that, actually, we also embellishes around the system with services. So we provide a full end-to-end solutions to ensure that SMEs get to enable it effectively.
The thing about your business is that if you scale, you can scale big and you can capture more market share. And this involves raising investment, raising capital. 25% apparently of your shareholder is owned by Malaysian Venture Capital Management, or MAVCAP. How has their role, involvement in ownership of the company kind of helped in boosting up the business? And will there be any fundraising plans in place right now?
Okay, and that has played quite a prominent role actually in MYwave itself. Sorry, MAVCAP. They have been providing a lot of advisory to us. When we started, we were actually kind of a small, close-knit team of people who actually built the company. So with MAVCAP, actually Malaysia Venture Cap coming on board itself, investing in the company, they actually bring along knowledge such as corporate governance, which we were lagging at the time, and also investment plans, financial know-hows, connections, introductions to companies and the bigger companies actually, and also show us way to bring our products to overseas itself.
We'll go for one more break. When we come back, we'll close our conversation with Yip of MYwave. Thanks for staying on with us. This is Notepad. I have with me Yip Hon Choong of MYwave. Let's talk a little bit more about companies that are planning for 2021. Finding revenue is already hard. Reducing cost could be easier in terms of trying to manage the profit and loss. What would be some of the cost savings ideas that you can share with SMEs, particularly when it comes to routine items like HR? Do you feel that there's a lot of cost saving upside that can be done in this form, Yip?
Yes, yes. Okay. Two pointers over here. One, HR is conventionally historically not a very big department. So a lot of processes are actually still running on papers, pen and papers, manual. So one of the areas that they can actually capitalize on in terms of getting an advantage from the cost perspective is to convert all these processes, papers, traveling and things like that into a system, or what I call it, digitizing the HR process itself. This actually helps them to actually achieve an opportunity cost over there to move the HR into a next level of more strategic thinking than administrative. So this is with the system implementation itself. The systems actually can help to manage a lot of these things, policing processes and enforcing policies. So that actually can actually save the cost. Plus, with the cloud systems nowadays, you don't have to buy off the system. First thing, you don't have to manage the hardwares. You don't have to hire people, additional people to manage the hardware itself. All these are actually a cost saving if you move it on to a third party, people like us, to help you to manage all these things, and you still get a better solutions in return. That's one point. Second point to the HR is that there are some processes in HR which are critical, but that can actually be outsourced, because outsourcing, actually you have partners in the industries that actually can provide you with a very competitive pricing, plus they bring on additional knowledge to your organization because that is their core business. So they are the experts in the area. They actually can bring on that advantage. It's an added value to the company. Then you don't really need a lot of administrative stuff. That is one of the way to reduce the cost expenditures in the HR area. And additionally, actually from that itself, you can actually, how do I say it? You can actually tap on your partners, and they provide you the business continuity. Because like what I say, historically HR is a small department, so you have only one person handling a certain task itself. So those are opportunity costs. If in the event that one of them actually unable to perform the task, you're going to have an interruption in your businesses, which comes to an interruption to the business continuity. Actually, one of the things that I would like to advise the SME is to get themselves prepared. Always be prepared for whatever the future may throw at you. You see, like for example, in this case of pandemic itself, a lot of companies were ill prepared. But fortunately for us and our customers, we actually bring on digitization and also manages the outsourcing processes for them. So during the onset of the pandemic, there was very little interruptions to the process. In fact, we mitigated the whole thing. So I would like to advise the SMEs to actually seriously look into this and prepare themselves for whatever that comes. Actually, if they are prepared, then they would be in a position of luck, to overcome it or to at least mitigate it. Because luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. That was Yip Hon Choong of MYwave sharing with us some of the ideas when it comes to the management of HR, particularly as we recover from the COVID pandemic. If you've missed any part of this episode, just head on to astroawani.com, look for Notepad over there. There are plenty of episodes like this that can be found there. Until then, thanks very much for watching and goodbye.